Hello, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Happy cold Tuesday. After a beautiful Easter weekend, it's freezing here. Absolutely freeze the sun. I'm frozen girl, I really am. I've actually put the heating on for 10 minutes just to take the edge off because it's like brr. And we've got like gale force winds happening here. I don't know if it's stormy by you, but yeah, it's not pleasant here at all. It really isn't. Obviously, we're doing the 1 o'clock at 7 o'clock today and tomorrow because Sarah's off. So and it's just me in the shop. So it's obviously I can't leave the shop to come and do this. So we're doing evening ones instead. We're going to have a little go at some foundation paper piecing tonight, which I know is not everyone's favourite, but some people love it, and I do love it as well. So hi Ali, hi Leslie. It's cold and wet there too. I know it's horrible, isn't it, love? It's horrible. I completely forgot to do that. Oh, you guys, we had an Easter sale on, didn't we, over the weekend? And very stupidly, we had an Easter sale on when I was in the shop by myself. So, yeah, that was an interesting day today because, boy, there were some orders. So I did get them all out, though. They're all gone. They're all dispatched. So if you're doing click and collect, come and get them tomorrow or in the next few days. If not, everything else is all gone in the post for you. So, so yeah, all that's been done. You might have noticed that our postage has gone up slightly. Unfortunately, Royal Mail have hiked their prices massively. Started on the 1st of April. So we've had to put it up, guys, just because we can't afford to, absorb all that amount extra. If it was like, a few pence here and there, it'd be different. But they've put it up massively at the post office, so we've had to put ours up as well. So there are a few changes on the postage, but Sean did put post on the other day. Remember, you can, of course, if you are local, you can do click and collect if you need to. Hi Natalie, hi Linda, you haven't seen me for ages. No, you made me a cup of tea earlier. How was your fish finger sandwich? Was it good? Hi Jean, hi Maria. I nearly said Marion then. I'm going to have to start putting my reading glasses on to read your comments. Hi Maria, hello darling. I also forgot to, because I was so busy as well, the shop was crazy today as well. We had a lovely lady come all the way from Northumberland to find us, which was amazing, really nice. And then lots and lots of other people in the shop as well. So yeah, it's all been a little bit crazy. Sorry to see the subscription boxes are finishing. Yeah, it took off really well, but then it's dropped right off this last few months. Not as many people are doing them. Maybe you haven't got time to do them or something, but we will be doing something else, so don't panic. Okay, there will be something else. There is something else in the pipeline, but the subscription box as they are at the moment, in the I was going to say incantation, but that's not the right word. Incarnation of they are at the moment is going to be stopping. So yeah, grab them while you can if you want to, but we're going to be doing something else soon. So hi Cheryl, you had a fish finger sandwich too. Oh, I love a fish finger sandwich. Really delicious. Hi Grace. Hi Margaret. Hello everybody. Yeah, some things we try and they work really, really well, and then they lose popularity. Other things don't work at all. Other things work brilliantly and stay. Like the 1 o'clocks. So yeah, we just, as a business, you have to change all the time and work out what's good and what's bad, don't you? So sorry, I'm really so cold. I'm trying to warm myself up. I really am. I will do the challenge post tomorrow. I'm very sorry. It was crazy busy and I just completely left all the stuff over at the shop. I did it all and then left it when I left earlier to get home. So I will pull that tomorrow. Okay, I promise. I'm going to sneeze. My nose is terrible. I am sorry, but I'm mega snuffly today. Who else is coming on? Hi Margaret, hi Anne, hello my darling, how are you, lovely? What else was I going to tell you? Something else I was going to tell you. Can't remember, I'll tell you when I remember. So, there's some new stuff come in, which I've put on the website and I left it in the shop, but I'll show you that tomorrow. So, now, all the numbers have changed for some reason. Since we came out of Facebook jail, it's messed with all the cameras. So Carol, you don't always make them up, so you've got lots of fat quarters left, please. Ideas, please. What about like the pick and mix Pick and mix quilt, that's a really nice one for fat quarters. What we're doing tonight, you could use fat quarters for, all sorts. I'll come up with some ideas and I'll let you all know tomorrow some ideas for fat quarters, okay? So hopefully, if I go over here, I'm on the overhead. Hi Andy, how are you, lovely? Hi Eileen. It's freezing cold and wintry there too. Oh yeah, it is. It's everywhere. I am here. I can see me. I can see my fingers. Right, what we're going to do today is we're going to do some foundation piecing and we're going to make a little kaleidoscope block, which you could do normal piecing, but it's quite difficult. It's a very difficult block to do. It works brilliantly. It's really quick to do with foundation piecing though. And I've drawn up a template for you, which I will put on the website tomorrow so that you can download if you want. I've done a little template to make this kaleidoscope block. It's ends up as a 6-inch block, so 6.5 inch unfinished. And I've done it that side because it works perfectly with a charm pack. Okay, you can make 9, possibly more. You can probably, but definitely 9 of these blocks out of a charm black and a bit of background fabric, which is the perfect size for cushion front. So this I'm using is a brand new one. It's called Bliss. It's brand new into the shop. It's on the website. It's by Three Sisters, and it's all these. I love the Three Sisters range. They did Sanctuary and. Oh, what else did they do? The Shores and all things like that. Really, really beautiful range. So I'm going to use this one tonight and show you how if you've got a charm pack sat there in your stash, this is a perfect little thing to do with it. It's a really pretty pattern. You'll see as we start to put them together, you'll see that you get like these lovely points happening with like sorts of star shapes and everything. You can do it one of 2 ways. So this is a bit of spot the difference. You can do it, and I've written it on the template for you, version 1 or version 2, okay? Version 1, when you put them together, you end up with your coloured bits here, making the stars, and your grey matches up here, like that, can you see? Version 2 is the opposite, it's like a mirror image, and you end up with grey stars, or whatever your background fabric is, like your star shape, but these beautiful diamonds of your colour, okay? We're going to do version 1 tonight, okay? But I'm going to talk you through version 2 as well. So we're going to go over the template, okay? So I've done a little template for your foundation piecing. Like I said, this will be a 6-inch block. Hi Karen, how are you, lovely? Hi Jane, you've just realised it was tonight. Yeah, and tomorrow night. You got me 2 nights in a row. So version 1, I've just written on the top here, number 2, 4, 6 and 8 will be your background fabric. Okay, so you're going to make sure that this is background, number 2, number 4 is background, number 6 is background, and number 8 is background. Okay, so if you're doing version 1, you'd make sure that your even numbers are background fabric. If you're doing version 2, you make your odd numbers, so 1, 3, 5 and 7. Background. It's as simple as that, but don't get muddled up and do them one of one and one of the other, because, well, I suppose you'd make a whole different type of block. It would look different, wouldn't it? So yeah, you can, if you want to, muddle it up and have a little go. Hi Janet, how are you, lovely? So yeah, actually, if you think about it, if you did 1 and 2, you'd end up with, let me see, like that, can you see? So let me turn that one. So you'd end up with even more sort of random little patterns because you've got nothing touching then. And this one would be a version 2 in there. So you'd have your grey here. And you end up with this really like funky design. So you could do both and mix and match them. But we're just going to do version 1 today. As with all foundation piecing, and I know we've talked about this before, guys, you can absolutely sew on the paper. You can print this out as many times as you like, and you can sew directly on the paper, and you can then tear the paper off once you've done it. I like to do it on stitch and tear. That's just my preferred method. Either method is absolutely fine, okay? But I prefer to do it on stitch and tear. With stitch and tear, you can absolutely tear it out. That's the whole point of stitch and tear, is you can take it out, okay? That will just pull off the back, just like you would paper. But you can leave it in, There is nothing stopping you leaving this stitch and tear in. It gives it a little bit more structure, but once it washes, it goes beautifully soft and you wouldn't know it's even in there. I prefer to leave mine in. I think it helps protect the block and protect the stitching. But it's entirely up to you. There's lots of different opinions on this. So I've got a piece of stitch and tear and I've drawn out on there just with a pencil. Again, I like to use a mechanical pencil because it kind of scores the stitch and tear a little bit. And I've marked out my numbers. And because I'm going to do version 1, I'm going to mark on the stitch and tear just as a reminder which ones are going to be my back. Oh, don't ruin your pencil. My background fabric. So I'm going with my evens on this one. They're going to be my background fabric, okay? I'm going to chop this up because we're going to do 2 halves and then join them together. So chop that one up out and along the top there. So who's done foundation piecing? Who enjoys it? Who gets a bit confused by it? It's very easy to get confused with foundation piecing. I'm a massive fan of foundation piecing. I love it. I like how you can get really different shapes that you just couldn't get otherwise. Hi Sarah, how are you, lovely? And I enjoy it. I enjoy the whole process, but I do understand that it can be a little bit confusing. So for each little block, you're going to want some background fabric. So I'm just using this lovely pale grey because I thought it toned in nicely. And there's quite a lot of sort of creamy colours in this. So I thought it allows me to use those and still give me a contrast. And you're going to need 4 charm squares per block. So just pick out 4 you want to use. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys can hear that rain, but it's crazy out there. There we go. Oh, I'm going to use that one because that's really pretty. One of those. Okay, so I'm going to go through my charm block and just pull out. Oh, let's use one of those. And then this is such a beautiful charm pack, this one. Let's go with that little one there. And then we want a pinky-ish one, don't we? Let's go with a bigger print there. Okay, you can see I've still got lots left and I've already done quite a few blocks. So I'm going to start with this top piece here, number 1. So number 1, I know needs to be a colour. So you enjoy it, but you get really confused with it. It can be confusing, darling, absolutely. Sarah, could one use the freezer paper method to make these? Absolutely, and you can reuse it. Yes, definitely you could. Andy, you love FPP, failed miserably at first, but stuck with it. Excellent. Good girl. Again, it just takes a bit of practice. So the rain's been like that all day for us. You might have started building a boat. Yeah, it does feel like a little bit of an epic flood going on out there. Maria, you love FPP, but after you get past pieces 1 and 2, I know it's the first little bits that people get really confused with. So let me just use the back of this a second. With FPP, everything is mirror imaged. So what you've drawn out, okay, that is actually the back of your work. All right, so all the fabric is going to go on the wrong side of what you've drawn out, whether that's the paper or your stitch and tear. Okay, now if you think about it, this one here is number 1, this shape here. I want this is going to be facing up eventually, isn't it? So I want to put this one wrong sides to wrong sides. On the piece number 1, the very first piece on any bit, any section goes wrong sides to wrong sides. Now, I'm going to put this on just quite randomly, all right, at the moment. And what I'm going to do is, what you want to do then is just turn it over and make sure that all of section 1, now I don't know if you can see this. Let me try putting a piece of white paper behind it. It might help a little bit. Let's see, hopefully you can see this. So there's my number 1 shape there, okay? I want to make sure that all of number 1 is covered, all right? So I'm looking, this is my seam allowance, this little bit here. So I want to make sure I go right into my seam allowance where possible and that all of number 1 is covered, which it is by this piece of fabric, okay? When you get really good at foundation piecing, you can start playing around with much smaller pieces of fabric. But when you're starting off or still newish at it, go big and understand that you might waste a bit of fabric, but it's worth it to get that technique stuck in your head. So Oh, it was lovely where you were, Jean, is it? This morning? Oh, and then the rain started. Yeah. Natty, FPP still scares you. One day you'll get past it scaring me and give it a go. Oh, honestly, this is a nice, easy one. It's only 4 little sections per piece, okay? So, I don't know, hopefully you can see that. All of number 1 is covered, all right? So I'm going to put a pin in like that just to hold that in place, away from any lines. Just hold it, okay? Next thing I want to do is think about number 2 at the moment. There's no sewing at the moment. So I'm looking for the line between 1 and 2, which is this line here, okay? And I'm going to fold my paper or stitch and tear back along that line. And this is one of the reasons that I like a mechanical pencil, is because it scores it for you a little bit, so it folds really nice and neatly. You can also print. Let me just come back here a minute, guys. I think I'm over here now. If you've got a inkjet printer, you can print this directly onto stitch and tear, so you don't have to do any of the drawing. You can cut pieces of stitch and tear into A4 sheets, and most inkjets will go through and you can just print directly onto it, and you haven't got to do any tracing either, which is fantastic. So I've folded back between 1 and 2. Now, you don't need one of these rulers, but they are really handy. I'm not a massive fan for lots and lots of different rulers. I'm quite happy with, you know, my bog standard rulers. I think you can do most everything with it. But the joy of an add a quarter, if you've got one, is this lovely lip here. So it's got a 1/4 inch here, like, and it's raised. I don't know if you can see that. It's got like a little raised lip there. If you've got one, this is the time to use it. You're going to butt that up. You're going to slide it until it hits that fold, okay, like that, and it'll butt up. And we can trim off, okay? We can trim off, so I've got a 1/4 inch seam allowance of fabric over the line. If you don't have one of these rulers, you can absolutely just use any ruler, lie your 1/4 inch along, and also trim off, okay? But this is really good. You're also scared, only did it once in class, but it's your challenge. Absolutely, Karen, challenge yourself, my lovely. Have a little go. So, butt that up with that little overhang, and you're going to trim off all of the rest of that charm pack. Don't waste that. That little piece will actually go into others later on, okay? So don't waste any of those little bits. I've got all mine in a little pile. I can use that. This fabric feels amazing. It almost feels like Tana lawn. It's got a real lightness to it. Okay, so there's my first little trim. Flip it back. I don't know if you can see, but you can now see a 1/4 inch of fabric extending beyond that line that we've just done, okay? I'm going to flip this over now, okay, and that's another reason you've got a pin in there. Now, number 2, I've written on there, is going to be background fabric. So, I'm going to, now, there's lots of patterns out there that will tell you to measure your background fabric and all the rest of it. I don't bother. I hack myself a piece off, okay? Be generous, give yourself enough to play with, all right? I'm going to now lie a piece of background fabric along that edge that I've just cut, like that. And again, if you're new to it, give yourself plenty to play with. Once you start getting like, you know, a bit snazzy at this, you can then play around and not waste as much, all right? But we're going to lie that down so that the raw edges of the back of this fabric, this would be right sides together now. Okay, so everything from now on is right side. All the fabrics are always right sides together. It's only the first one, which is fabric to stitch and tear, which is wrong to wrong. Everything else is right to right. Okay, so I'm going to put that piece in like that, and I'm going to put a pin in to hold it all together, and I'm pinning all the way through both fabrics and the stitch and tear. All right, I'm going to flip it back over, and now we're going to stitch this, and I'm going to start stitching at this point. So I'm going to stitch on the line of between 1 and 2. So starting here and ending here. Try not to go into your seam allowances wherever you can, okay? So we're going to go along that little bit there. So over to the machine, hopefully here. You bought back packs of foundation paper piecing paper to print out directly. Oh, that's a really good thing to do, Helen. Oh, I've not seen those. Oh, I might have to have a little look at those. Right, I'm going to drop my needle in where I want. So I'm just keeping an eye on the needle like that, and I'm dropping it in on that point. Foot down. If you've got an open toe foot, that really helps with this as well, okay? lock that stitch off, or just stitch a couple of little bits and stitch back. It's worth locking off on this. And then stitch down that line. You're just following the line. One thing I should have said actually is make sure that if you're going to tear your papers out, if you want to tear out the paper or the stitch and tear, you want to drop your stitch length down to about 1.5, 1.8. It will come out much, much easier. Okay, so all I've done is stitch from there to there, not going into the seam allowance. I'm going to go back over to the overhead. There we go, like that. Take out those 2 pins, there and there, and then we're going to fold this out, okay? And either iron or finger press it. I tend to just finger press for now. Smooth it out, okay? Like that. You're then going to check that you've covered number 2 with this fabric. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to look through number 2 and double check that it's definitely all covered with the fabric. It is, I'm fine. I've used a nice big piece, so I'm all good. And I've got number 2 covered. Now we're going to go on to the next line, which is between 2 and 3. So we are going to find the line between 2 and 3, which is this line here. And you can always kind of check as well. So this one's been stitched on, so I need the next one along. I'm going to fold back on 2 and 3, just like we did before. I'm going to grab my little add a quarter ruler, butt that up against the fold and trim off all of that excess. Okay, now that's quite a big piece. That won't go to waste. That I'll use in one of the other background pieces, all right? That will go in the bin. That's a ridiculously small piece. Like that, okay? I'm actually going to just take off this little bit here as well now. I don't need all of that excess. I'm just cut off a little bit more than I need because I've got the seam allowance here, so I've cut it big. I'm all good. So I've trimmed off between 2 and 3, like that. Flip it over, and I know that number 3 needs to be a colour, so I can see that line that I've just cut of the fabric only. Don't cut the stitch and tear. And I'm going to grab my next charm square, and we're going to line that up against that cut edge, okay, like that. Put a pin in to hold it all together, and I pin in right down out of the way, okay, it's just to hold it in place. Flip it back over. We're going to do the same. We're going to stitch from this point here now along the 2-3 line up to here. All right, so back over to the machine. Oh, hang on. Which the machine's this one now? Cheryl, you love FPP and find it far easier than any other piece, and you've got trimmers, so trying to cut a specific size has always been challenging. Yeah, I'm with you, Cheryl. Absolutely, I adore FPP. It's really is one of my favourite methods. It's really accurate. Hang on, that's a little bit. Let me just try getting that in focus a bit more. It's a really accurate way of piecing, and you can get really, really neat results without worrying too much because you're just following the drawn pattern. It's a brilliant method. I love it, Cheryl. Okay, there we go. So I've stitched down between 2 and 3, just on that line, following the pencil line. Back over we go. Take the pin out, flip that out like that. Okay, and before I cut anything, I always just flip over, double check that number 3 is all completely covered, which it is, all right, and into my seam allowance. If it's just not covering your seam allowance, if you're trying to use a little bit up and you're only just into your seam allowance, don't worry. As long as you've got enough to sew in as a 1/4 inch, it's fine. If you aren't taking the stitch and tear out, what stitch length would you use? I still go on a 2. Even though I'm not taking it out, I find I get a much more accurate stitch with a smaller stitch on this, Natalie. Do you reverse stitch before you sew? I do. Well, I use a lock stitch. My machine's got a lock stitch, which is the one that just goes up and down and locks it off here and here. It does it automatically. It locks it before it cuts it. But yes, if you haven't got that on your machine, yeah, just take a couple, like literally 1 or 2 stitches back on itself and then along and reverse as well. It can't, otherwise These are quite big pieces for foundation piecing. When you're doing more complicated things with tiny, tiny little pieces, you really need to make sure they're anchored in. Okay, so next one along is between 3 and 4. So we'll repeat that process. So we're going to go fold back between 3 and 4, find that fold, lock in that ruler against it, and trim off like that. Okay, and again, you've got more. I put a new blade in and I've still got a nick in it. You've got more than enough there to use in another one. Okay, that you can see if I was doing one of these ones over here in another block, I've got enough there. There we go, like that. And then I know that my last one is a background fabric. So again, I'm going to grab myself a piece like that. Now, if you are trying to be really economical with your fabric and you think, oh, I don't know if that's going to fit, because when you flip it, the angles can really confuse you at times, which is why I say always go big. Linda, can I ask what machine you are using, please? I've got the Brother Innovus 1800. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've had her for what, 3 years now? I had her in the middle of lockdown, so about 3 years now. And she gets a hammering because of all the sewing we do, and Sarah goes on her, the boys use her, everybody uses her, and she's brilliant. I would highly recommend it. Highly. So yeah, it's the Innovus 1800Q. Again, so I've just lined that up, pinned it down, back over to the machine, and now we're going to stitch between 3 and 4 along there. Okay, so over we go. If you're looking for a brother, I could highly recommend J&B Sewing. They're based in Newport and Cardiff. Oh, I didn't lock stitch that one, so I'm just going to reverse a weeny bit. There we go. But they're also online. If you're not local, you can look and order online as well, which is brilliant. And honestly, they do like next day delivery as well with them. Okay, I don't know if this machine is trying to. I'm just trying to get the machine camera in the right place for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. It's focusing up here instead of down there. Okay, so I've stitched through there and there, like that. Brother Innovus 1800, thank you. Writing this on here in case I forget. Yeah, it's a fantastic machine. I cannot recommend it enough. Sarah had the 1100 originally before she had a V2, VQ, whatever it is. I can't remember what she's got now. I know lots of the ladies have got the Brothers, the 1100s, the 1800s, and the 1300s. I think they'd all recommend them. They're all great machines. Right, so now I've kind of got all that, again, double check. Yeah, number 4, all nicely covered. So that piece is done. I give this a little press now. So I'm not gonna move the ironing board. I'm just gonna press that out over here. Just make sure that all those creases, those seams are nice and flat like that. Okay, doesn't look at the moment how much you want it. And yeah, Anne's got the 1100. It's a great machine, isn't it, Anne? Anne actually got my 1100 because I was going to buy the 1100 and she got there like an hour before me. And she got the last one when there was that massive sewing machine shortage. So I had to go for the bigger one, which my husband was like, oh, go on then. Right, so everything's all there. Everything's covered. Now we can trim this down. So, I'm throwing pins at myself. What we're going to do is we're going to trim it on the outside line, which is your 1/4 inch away. Okay, so I'm just going to line up my ruler like that and trim it on the outside line because that is my seam allowance. Okay, all the way round like that. And that's the first part done. Now, I know this seems like it's taken quite a long time, but that's because I'm talking lots. Once you've kind of got into the swing of this is a really quick block. Really, really quick block. Oops, sorry. It's all right, Annie. I've forgiven you. You know that. And there we go. That's the first part of the block done. Okay, so it looks a little bit more like how we want it to. We're now going to do the second half, okay, which is this one here. So it looks at the minute like it's not going to fit, but that's because everything's reversed, all right? And that's going to make us square. So I'm going to put that one piece aside, and then we're going to go back to the bottom half of the block. So number 5 is a colour, okay, because it's an odd number. So you could absolutely, now I don't want to have the same ones in the same block, but when I'm doing a second block, you could absolutely use this piece that we cut off earlier and make sure that that's going to go in, which it will, it'll fit in like that, okay? So you can use the bits that you cut off in your next blocks. Natalie, you've got the brother in a vest and you love her. Yeah, if you get a same machine, you'd stick with the same range. Yeah, absolutely. See, I'm very torn. I'm very much a brother girl. I do love them. I really enjoy using them. So if I put this one here, so remember, because it's my first one, it's the first one on the piece, it's going wrong side to wrong side. So wrong side of fabric to wrong side of stitch and tear. So the first is always wrong and then they're always rights, okay? Pop a pin in and then we're gonna fold back between 5 and 6. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit faster now to get this one done so I can show you how to join them. So talk to me, my darlings. How did you all have a nice Easter? Did you do family stuff? Did you get any Easter eggs? Maybe you don't eat chocolate. Did you get a bottle of wine or a bottle of gin instead? What happened? What happened for you guys? There we go. So that's that one there. Flip that over and then I'm going to add in my bit of grey. So you can see it's a really odd little shaped piece, but if you don't think it's going to work, test it. So pop a pin in where the 1/4 inch would be, like that. Flip that one out and just check that it covers, which I know it does. Maria, you've got the Innovis A150 from J&B. Can't recommend them enough. I know they're really great. They're brilliant with the after service as well. If you go into the Cardiff store, you can say hello to Beth. You know, my daughter-in-law, she works down there. She's only just started working down there, so you know, I've had brilliant service from them well before she started working. It's who we bought our Daphne, you know, our long arm from as well. They're brilliant, they really are. And there's nothing they don't know. They do Janome, they do Brother, they do Benina, they do something else as well, but the Brother machines are fantastic. So starting from there to there. Jean, you have the Innovis N2600 and you love it. Oh, I've not heard of that one, lovely. Is that a like embroidery and sewing machine? What else? Carol, you went to your sons and family, ate so much lovely food. Ah, that's nice. We had, all the boys came round, which was lovely. I had all my boys back in the house, and little man. We did a little Easter egg hunt for him in the garden. Only with like these little smarty eggs. There was only like 8 in the pack, just for him to hunt round and everything. And bless him, we had to do it 6 times. I had to hide them all and then do it again because he just wanted to keep finding eggs and keep finding eggs. So yeah, it was it was an interesting day. What's that, Linda? You took 128 Ukrainian refugees to St. Fagans. The kids did the high ropes Easter trail. Oh wow, took lots of fundraising, which came to £6,500. Oh my goodness, that is blooming amazing, Linda. Oh, well done you. That's such a fantastic thing to do. That's lovely. May, you had a lovely Easter. Your cousin and his wife came down with their beautiful new baby. Oh, cute, cute, cute. Baby cuddles are always the best. Sews and embroiders, though you haven't used the embroidery bit. Oh, I might have to have a little look at that one, huh? So that one's fine for there. So I've done 5 and 6. I'm going to flip back on between 6 and 7 and trim off like that. There we go. And I know I can get rid of that piece there as well. I don't need that. And then number 7 is going to be a colour. So I'm going to put my last colour one in like this. Right to right now. So like that. I'm going to put a pin in. I keep losing my pins. I take my pins out and I can't find them again. I have to keep grabbing them out of Dave. There we go. So we're going to then flip over and then we're going to stitch down like that. So I'm going to whip back over here. We've only got like 2 lines of stitching left to do and the block's nearly done. So again, like that. We do have, if anybody is interested and you're local and you can get to us, we do have a couple of spaces, not many, but a couple of, I think there's 3 left on our foundation paper piecing course, which is in June the 17th, I want to say. and it's you're gonna have a choice of like 6 different designs. We're gonna do like a little basic design first, everybody, and then I'm gonna give you a choice of some sort of slightly more complicated designs to have a go at, so that you can really get to grips with the foundation piecing. Okay, so yep, that's fine. That all covers number 7, and then my last one is another background, which is number 8. Okay. So yeah, there are a few spaces left. If anybody is terrified and is able to make it, come along and join us. Come along and join us and see. Right. Oh, have I got a little bit of grey anywhere, or have I got to cut another bit? Can I get it out of there? I can. So if I just iron that little piece there. And this is why I say don't worry about June the 17th. It is brilliant. Thanks, Anne. Couldn't quite remember the date. This is why I said about don't worry about feeling like you're wasting it, because bits like this that have been cut off, you will use, okay? So I'm just, again, because it's a slightly odd shape, I'm just going to double check that that's going to fit, which it should do. 1/4 of an inch. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay, so like that. Pin in. Flip over. Stitch down. Okay, over here. Yes, please, June the 17th. How do you book, please? If you go onto our website, lovely, because we can't take any payments over the phone at the minute. We're still in the process of trying to work out how to do it, how to find out what it is. What date in June, Sarah? It's 17th, lovely. Yeah, 17th. If you go on our website and look at the masterclasses and workshops section, it's a £10 deposit, and you can pay that, and that books you on, lovely. And then you pay the balance nearer the time. Yeah, 17th, Sarah. Yeah, thank you. Anne looked it up for me. Yeah, it seems like pinning next fabric to next paper section. Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think. Oh, although look at what I've just done, because I wasn't concentrating. I was reading the comments. This one flipped up and caught it, so I'm gonna have to unpick that. That's because I was trying to read those comments and not looking at where I was sewing. So what happened, this piece flipped as I was sewing, and I didn't realise, so I'm just going to unpick that quickly. There we go, flip that one back out, pop a pin in it over here to keep it down, and then just going to re-sew that little bit that I missed. Here we go. Okay, back over we go. Oh, I didn't change the camera then, did I? Sorry. Basically, this little piece here had flipped up. I was reading the comments and not concentrating on what I was doing, so I just unpicked it quickly. So, there we go, back on here. You'd love to go a bit on the 17th, but it's Jeff's birthday. Oh, well, you know, can't be doing that. Can't be leaving the hubby by himself on his birthday, Han. There we go. So, that's all better now. Let's get back over here. What was I going to say? Oh, we've been booked today. I don't know. So for those of you who've looked at Gigglers today, there we go. I'm just going to iron that all out nicely now. Who looked at Gigglers? We will be at Cardiff Quilters exhibition in June the 3rd, I think it is, which is again local to us. You go, just double checking again that it's all totally covered, which it is, so I can then trim down. So just like we did before, I'm going to trim on the outside line. We are going to be there all day for that's on June the 3rd, so we're going to be Cardiff in Park End Church. So if you are local, you could come and see us there. We'll have lots of bargains and all as everything, as well as see the beautiful exhibition. The days before that, on the 1st and 2nd of June, we are going to be in Bristol at the Bristol quilt exhibition. We're going to be the trader there for 2 days. So you're a fan of a seam roller for FP? Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's you know, I tend to just sharp nail and finger press, but a seam roller or a magic seam wand, one of the June Taylor ones, brilliant for this. So there's my second piece done. Sorry, what was I saying? Hang on, just come back over here a second. So yeah, 1st and 2nd of June, we will be at Bristol Quilt Exhibition as a trader. We'll have a stand there with all our goodies if you're in that area. And then on the 3rd, we'll be in Cardiff at the Cardiff exhibitors. So that will be there will be there then again with a stand. But we've just been booked for July 13th, 14th, 15th. July 13th, 14th, 15th. Clandilo. I'll put the details on the Gigglers. We're going to be there for 3 days at their exhibition. So if you're in the Carmarthen area and you want to come that way and see us, we'll be there. So, right, go back over here. So I'm not showing. Did you take them out of the sale? Oh, yes, I did. I'll make sure they go back on. Lovely. Linda, I'll make sure it all goes back on in a minute. You brought him with me when you went to the Tuffet workshop. I don't think he'd let me do it again. Oh, bless you. Can't find the courses unshot. Linda, I think they're still hidden because of the sale. So when I come off air, I'll get on the laptop and make sure that they're visible, love. Okay. You can't wait. Oh yeah, we've got the counter sale as well coming up. So got lots going on. So yeah, we've done a counter sale before. So it's basically our version of Hochanda. That's going to be happening on the 22nd of April. So we're busy bunnies. I've got Crate and Craft. Sorry, not Hochanda. Crate and Craft next week. Woo, all over the place. You can't get rid of us. So what we want to do now, you can see this is a bit of a mess in the centre. You need to join the two pieces together. So this is like I said, this is a simple block because it's only got two pieces. Sometimes you might have 8 or 9 pieces that you're going to join together. The pattern will always tell you what order to join them. So it will say join A to B and C to D before you join those 4 together, etc. But this is a nice easy one. So I'm going to find the bit that's important is basically these points meeting. So I'm going to find the point with a needle, with a pin like that. Okay, make sure I've got it. And then I'm going to find the point over here, put that through and find the point on the template the other way. Okay, because I want that to meet. So I'm going to put a pin through that. I keep saying needle, I mean pin. Then what I want to do is line up those edges like that. Okay, now hopefully it will all match, but you can do another little double check. So I'm going to put the pin through the line here. And hopefully, which it does, it comes out on the line there. All right, like that. I don't push this one through until everything else is lined up. Okay, just leave that center pin hanging at the moment, and then I'm going to go through this line here like that, through and hit the line there. Okay, and then I can go like that. I find that by leaving that one in there, it gives me a bit of a pivot point, which means everything goes together a little bit neater. All right, so Jem, you're going to have to move me. I'm going to come across now. Once I've got everything where I want it, then you can just push that pin through if you want. Okay, we're going to stitch down this line now, that long line. So back over to the machine, which is this one now. You can't wait for the online sale. Yeah, it's always a bit of a giggle, isn't it, when we do one of our auctions? But this is not going to be an auction. It's going to be a counter sale. So what we're going to do is we'll put loads of things which are all going to be reduced and bargains into a special section on the website, and then we're going to literally go down the counter like we do on Crate and Craft and tell you what the kits are or what they. It's not necessarily kits. It could be fabric. It could be pre-cuts, all sorts of things. But everything will be like kind of reduced and stuff. So when I get to the pins, I do take them out with this, and I'm just following that drawn line all the way to the end, like that. Lock off at the end. If we buy on the tabletop sale, are we in time to have them for the retreat? Yes, my lovely, absolutely. So we're going to be 1 o'clock on the 22nd. We're going to do the counter sale. If you order within the hour that we are open, I will quickly do your orders and put them in the van ready to go to the retreat. Okay, so you can see there's my block coming together. Now, there is a lot of bulk in that centre. This is one of the few times that I would say iron this seam open. Okay, so I'm going to iron this open. Just going to finger press it first because I find that's easier, and make sure that those fabrics, because that is an awful lot of bulk right in the centre otherwise. Okay. Mum's going to be there on that date, so introduce her to the fun and chaos of a counter sale. Brilliant. So sorry, I'm trying not to move the ironing board because I've got it all set with the laptop just slightly on top of it. So I'm just going to iron this off camera and just ironing it open and really, really ironing that centre to make it nice and flat. Okay, looking forward to the quilt retreat. Me too, Jean. I really am. It's going to be lovely. Really, really lovely. So yeah, it'd be nice to see everybody again. Okay, so there's my little block done. All you want to do now, so that will now measure 6.5 inches. It's just nip off those, well, I would wherever my rotary, there's my rotary cutter. Nip off those little dog ears that are pinking out the side. They're peeking out, they are, so I want them off. There we go, like that. That's your block done, okay? So what you can do now is put all your blocks together. So, see, I didn't trim that one. Let me just trim that one. Get rid of that dog ear. You shouldn't need to square these blocks up either, because you've done it all on a template and everything. You shouldn't need to square them up. You can then start putting the blocks together. So we're going to do this, and no, that's the wrong one. That's the version 2, which is the opposite one. Can you see? And let's put that one in the centre, and you can turn them. And can you see you're starting to get these lovely like kaleidoscope shapes happening? Okay, I didn't get a chance to make a fourth one, which I wish I had a chance to do another one for you, but you can hopefully see that this will come out on here and you get that lovely point happening. Okay, like we said earlier, if you do version 2, it's the opposite way round. So you're doing the background on the odds, not the evens, but you would end up with all sorts of interesting secondary patterns and all happening. You could, you know, mix and match them. You know, you could do 2 and 2. You could do all one way, all the other. You know, mix and match them and see what happens. But you get that lovely with this. I don't know if you can see with the background fabric. You get these. What is it? What's 8 sides, Carolyn? Octagon. You get these lovely like octagon shapes happening as well, which really like emphasize this star. Once that, I wish I'd had a chance to get another one done, because once that goes in, you can really kind of see it appear. But it's a really nice, easy little one to have a go at foundation piecing with. I will put this template, I will scan it in and put it onto our website tomorrow for you, so that you can have a little go. I just do it at £1 just to cover our download costs. So you can have a little play. How do you prevent the stitches splitting at the centre? Did you do reverse stitch and couple stitch? I did, lovely. Oh, when I sew each section together, oh, here, do you mean where the stitches here splitting, or just there? I back stitched at the beginning, so they're really nice and taut there. When I iron it open, I mean, because you've used a really small stitch length, you really don't, there's no chance of it coming apart. When you join these, you're going to put them right sides together like that, and again you're going to find the points. So you're going to find that point there, you want it to meet that point there. Okay, so find those 2 points, stitch it down. Okay, and then when you open that out, again I would iron that one open rather to one side, and it will join. It's about your stitch length. That's basically, I back stitch, Karen, and then I use a smaller stitch length with reverse paper, with foundation paper piecing. That seems to, touch wood, always have done the trick. Just having a little look at all your other comments. Another little bit of nervy block. Oh, you're very welcome, lovely. Yeah, it's a really nice one. If you've not done foundation piecing before, oh, hang on, my camera's all moved. If you've not done foundation piecing before, this is a nice one to have a go with. It's a very, very simple one, but it's really effective, really, really effective. So that's it for today. I'm back tomorrow with block of the week. We're going to do a slightly different block of the week though, so bear with me tomorrow. But I'll do the challenge post tomorrow as well, and I'll show you all the new pre-cuts that have come in, and I'll bring those over with me as well. So I'll show you those. I will go online now, I'll go and grab my laptop and I will unhide the classes for you, okay, so that you can see them, and if you want to get booked onto the FPP, please do come and join us, it'd be lovely. The short stitch helps with tearing paper away as well. Absolutely, Em, it does. Yeah, Emma does a lot of foundation piecing. You should see some of her quilts. I love her little trinkets one, it's stunning. In fact, if you want to put one on our Gigless page to show people, it's a beautiful, beautiful example of foundation piecing. They're really quite little ones and really intricate, but they're stunning. She did a fantastic job on it. If you are tearing the paper, a shorter stitch length perforates the paper more, so it's easier to tear away. So yeah, it's a big thing. How's the group quilt going? It's going. I've got all the blocks in. I did lay them all out the other day. There's a lot of them. I'm going to be putting them together for a very long time, but it's got to wait till after the retreat. I can't do it until then. You're very welcome, Em. But yeah, it's beautiful. Her trinket quilt's stunning. Really is. I'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow. But I'll go in and hide the foundation class now. So if you want to go, give me 5 minutes, and you'll be able to book onto it. I think there's 3 spaces left. So we'll see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. Bye.